Terminal 2. I have a 4-year-old cat named Wilbur Francis. And that's Francis after St. Francis of Assisi. He's the patron saint of animals and also of not dying alone, curiously enough. And Wilbur after Wilbur the pig from Charlotte's Web. And like Wilbur the pig, Wilbur the cat is a runt. A neighbor of mine, when I was in grad school in Lubbock, found this poor, tiny, tiny little kitten outside of our apartments. And it was very sickly, so we decided to take her to a vet. And she was tiny and frail and could fall asleep in the palm of your hand. Get her to the vet's like, this cat's full of infection, way too malnourished to really get by much. So we should probably put her down. She's probably going to die anyway. So, in my sort of college thinking, I think, you know what might be better is, why don't we take her home, we'll care for her, if she ends up dying, at least she's in somebody's house, who cares, and not in some vet clinic. Well, they give us a bunch of bottles of like cat vitamins and antibiotics, or whatever the hell it is, and we give this to her, and after a couple of days she kind of comes around, and then within a week she's got her full strength back and is running around like crazy. So, now I have this 4-year-old cat named Wilbur Francis. And she's full grown, but she's still really small. That's why when at the office I hear the story the next day about this cat that was found in an engine, I sort of think, this is fate's way of telling me something. You see, what happened was, they get this messy kitten that's just all mangled up onto the table. They're preparing their syringes with the tranquilizers. And as they're going in, right at the right second, this cat hops up and sort of hobbles around the room a little bit. And the vets are like, maybe this cat's in better shape than we think. So after about a week of surgeries by amputating the rest of his leg, suturing up some of the more ghastly wounds, kind of nursing him back to health, he's in reasonable shape to go to somebody's house. Well, in my mind during this time, I've been thinking, you know, Wilbur sure could use like a cat friend. She's kind of an only child. When I'm gone during the day, she's all sad. So I think, well, I'll go check out this poor kitten, this misfortunate kitten. And if she's amiable enough, or he's amiable enough, well, Wilbur will have a nice friend. If not, I can help it find a home. Well, I get there, and as soon as I walk in, I see this cage with this little 3-legged kitten kind of coming at me. And I think immediately, this thing is obviously a little shit. I'm sold. So, the problem is, this is Brykerwood Veterinary Clinic, by the way, right here. The vets at Brykerwood have performed over $1,500 in surgery and whatnot. And I don't have $1,500 to throw down on some kid. So, them being the kind-hearted people that they are, they say, this happens pretty often. We get these crazy mangled cats, I don't know why. Basically, they charge me for parts, not labor. And $200 later, I got a 3-legged kitten. Well, the thing is, over the next week, I'm kind of getting used to this cat, he's getting used to me, and he's actually getting around pretty well, despite his condition. He's a little naive to the fact that he's kind of missing some major parts. But the big question at work is, what did you name him? And I've been caring for him all this time, I haven't really thought of a name. But they're more than happy to make suggestions like Trinity, or Hopalong.
I wanted to name it Stupid Fucking Cat.
See what I work with? The most obvious, most creative thing that I got, and this was a very popular recommendation, was tripod. Come on, man. Give me a break. Well, one of our sales guys is named John Duffy, and John Duffy is what's known as an idea guy. One day in passing in the office, he says, you know what you should do? You should try to make back your money from the surgery by eBaying the naming rights of the cat. It's the kind of thing that's it's just so freaking stupid I had to consider it. Well, after about half a 6-pack of these guys, I list the auction. I tell the whole story about the car and the kitten and me coming into possession of this thing. But most importantly, I include a picture, the most pathetic picture I can take of this cat. His front half looks pretty normal, like a kitten, but his back half is shaved, kind of stitched up, and without a tail or a leg, it just kind of tapers off into nothing. He looks like a big furry paisley with ears. So this auction is listed for 10 days. And during this 10 days, I think, if I can make back 30 bucks, it's a funny idea. Well, it spreads like spam. Literally, it was spam. Coworkers mail it to their friends, who mail it to family members. It goes and goes. And within 10 days, over 16,000 people had viewed this auction. In fact, KI News called me out of the blue. Did a story on us. Maybe you saw it. Well, for most of the auction period, Robert's roommate AJ is the highest bidder. But right at the last minute, there's an upset, and somebody I didn't know outbids and wins the auction. Somebody who goes by the name of Warrior Woman. She emails me and she says, "Glad to have won the auction. I've got the perfect name." It's a very important name to her, she tells me. It's what her father used to call her when she was a kid. It turns out her father had recently passed away. She says, "I want to name the cat Tuffy. Tuffy. Tuffy."
Terminal 3, August 3rd, 2005. For some reason I remember this. I'm sitting at work and thinking, I'm going to pretend like I'm sick and I'm going to play hooky. It's a pretty new job. I think, I don't know, I'm tired of it already. I don't give in on the threat, but I do later in the week. What's going on in the world scene, though, is really weird. I remember reading online about this country called Mauritania. Ever heard of it? It's in Africa, it's south of Morocco. I'd never heard of it. But they had a military coup. The entire government was overthrown. Of course, we in America were just paying attention to Iraq. What's really weird about August 3rd, 2005 is nothing was going on there. Not a peep.